Dr. Edwards. I thought I'd put together a quick little video about your final project Milestone 1, which is due at the end of this week, Sunday. Um, so yeah, if you haven't already read over the complete description of the final project, you should start with that. Right? It outlines how there's a cultural resource management survey, CRM, that's been done on a 50-acre tract of land, and they found some significant things, namely some a Native American burial site and an old homestead. And the homestead could possibly be associated with um, uh, Civil War era or earlier and slavery. It's not that uncommon in this part of the world. In fact, I've done a bunch of surveys in this neck of the woods, and that's a pretty common thing. Yeah, but I don't want you all to stress too much about the whole CRM aspect of that. That's really just kind of the how to put it. It's just kind of like the framework that we're working within. You're not expected to actually go and conduct, in-depth background research. You will have to do some research, though, right? But not to a ridiculous level. Let's see here. So this first part, Milestone 1, really has you focusing on stakeholders. All right. You already have 3 that are identified for you. You got previous landowners that sold the tract to the private university, that's stakeholder number 2, and the state government. Okay. Now, you're going to want to pick 2 more. And there's a little list. I can see where I'm pointing here. Local Native American groups, the larger nation of of American indigenous peoples, the publicly funded state museum, the U.S. federal government, the local townsfolk and community government, or UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. So what you're going to want to do is pick 2 of those, in addition to the 3 that you've already been given. Okay? And, all right, so that's that number 1 here. It's telling you exactly what I just said. You got to pick 2 additional parties. Next, after you've identified all 5 of your parties, stakeholders, you want to write a brief statement of interest in which you answer the following 2 questions for each of the 5 parties. Right? And these questions are, why do you think these additional parties would be most interested in the recent archaeological discoveries? Right? And number 2, what do the 2 additional parties have to potentially gain by the archaeological discoveries? So it's kind of 2 sides of the same coin, if you would, but you want to be able to separate them. What I suggest is actually having how to say this, give a little heading like, let's see here, previous landowners. And then under that you have question 1 and question 2, and offer specific answers to that. All right. And then space down and then do your next group. Or you could organize it as, you could organize it differently. I'm just trying to suggest you're going to want to be really clear about what part you are responding to and where. All right. So after you've done your statements, statement of interest for each of your 5 parties, you're going to want to actually go further than that. All right. Keep it separate, though, all right? Don't try to roll this into question 1 and, those 2 little questions about, why do you think these additional parties would be most interested in the recent archaeological discoveries, and what do the parties have to potentially gain out of the discoveries? So it's taking it a step further, but don't try to roll it all into one thing. It makes reviewing it a lot easier for me, all right? And should help you actually in how you structure your responses. So this whole description of invested parties, you're going to want to, it's going to be a total of 5, all right? So the 3 that you're given and the 2 more that you select. And you're going to describe why each party should be more interested in one of the 2 sites, right? Burial mounds and or the homestead. And you're going to want to think through and weigh how each of those parties, what sort of value they're going to associate with it, all right? What sort of interest are they going to have? You know, it might be historical, it might be religious, it might be economic, it might be political, right? Those things are pretty common when we deal with cultural resources because everyone has a different stake in them, all right? And that's really what this is designed to do, to have you kind of play those ideas out. I encourage you to find scholarly support for your points. Shapiro Library is really great for that. You can also do some Google Scholar searches, Google Books. I think that's what it's called. Maybe wrong on that. Anyway, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Make sure to cite any and all sources that you draw on using APA-style citation. If you need help with that, check out the valuable writing resources announcement I have posted on our front page. There's a link to Shapiro Library's APA-style page. There's a downloadable APA appendix PDF. I recommend that you download that and just keep it for your own personal use. It's a great resource to have on hand. Yeah, and also when you're drafting your responses, have this this rubric in hand. All right, the prompt and the rubric, and so you can see what the things are that I'm going to be looking for. Do you actually select two additional parties or stakeholders? Do you provide a brief statement of interest for each one of those? All right, and you'll see there's three basic categories that you can score in. You know, not evident, you didn't do it, or you did it and there are kind of holes and gaps. And you know, proficient, you're really engaging it. All right. Yeah. Descriptions of the invested parties. All right. So this is kind of that third question, part 3 up here, and then articulation of response. You know, be sure to proof your work. Make sure there are no major errors in typing, typos, grammar. Yeah, do you cite your sources? Are they in APA style? All that good stuff. So yeah, hopefully this little walkthrough helps you. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, don't you hesitate to get a hold of me. I'm here to help with any and everything that you need. So I'll leave it there. You guys have a great one. Take care. Bye.